the baseball game really quick.
Perfect.
Okay. Do you need a ball to play baseball? They've changed their minds. They want to play baseball. Go get a ball.
And this can be as low
You guys play.
key thrown
How's it going?
together as we can make it. So we are live now, just so that you know. So we are going live on YouTube. Okay.
This one's for you.
Perfect.
So I was kind of curious about going through some ideas, not only for doing lives with you, potentially on YouTube, but to also specifically talk about the podcast that we haven't been able to get scheduled with you because of your busy lifestyle over there. Oh no, now I think we're going to have to wait until you get on your desktop because the streaming's not very good. Okay, so you guys see here that we're on with Bridget, Tiny Green Growers, and she's trying to accommodate my schedule by popping on while taking care of the two little kiddos. She's outside on her phone, but I think I'm going to send her a message here.
Can you hear me, Brian?
I can now. Your thing froze up for like a good 40 seconds or so. You want me to? You want to wait and do it when you can go back inside on the laptop, or?
I don't know that they're gonna let me do that inside.
Which is
but
fine.
I am like I'm right next to where my Wi-Fi is inside, so I should be good now. It's just not a pretty background. It's cool.
So while I've got you for the few minutes, and again, if you have to leave at any point, just disappear. It doesn't matter.
Brian, it is time.
But I wanted to go over just a few ideas with you because I think you and I have thrown out a few things on our messages, on our DMs about our podcast episode that we've been trying to schedule for the last couple months.
Baseball.
Yeah. I'll play baseball in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
I know, and there's so many different ways to go because I feel like we're very opinionated on like a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of similar things happening in the Instagram world that can be frustrating or really fun. So it could really go in a bunch of different directions.
And I think for the most part, a lot of the things that we talk about, because I think a lot of other people struggle with a lot of the things that we kind of touch on. Let's just say that for now. So whether or not we save a lot of that for the podcast episode or not, but I kind of thought with this YouTube live, I think 2023 for me is, focusing in on getting the podcast channel, the Tossing Salad podcast channel up and going on YouTube. I think I think it's more set up for YouTube than any of the other social media platforms. And you have YouTube also, right?
Yeah, I do, which has just been, it was easier when I had my oldest in daycare because my youngest would nap and then I could do little clips here and there. But now they're with me like pretty much full time with the exception of like a little nursery school. So I haven't been doing as much YouTube stuff as I wanted, but these like little informal lives where they're just hanging out in the background is totally fine with me. But yeah, I mean, I'm stuck in between like rock and a hard place where I want to do more of these things that I see like our friends in the garden community doing. And like, I just think would be really fun to do, but it's tough with two little guys running around.
We'll try. Yeah. I mean, just like even right now. And that's why I'm looking forward to doing this more on our YouTube channel in a sense that it's kind of off the map, off the grid from our regular Instagram accounts where you've got a really nice following there. I'm starting kind of new on YouTube. I don't know necessarily, what kind of community you have on YouTube yourself with Tiny Green Growers, but I think it'll be kind of fun to the game planning, the exchanging of our ideas for stuff. I think that'll be great for doing the lives here for the 5 minutes I can peel you away.
Gonna be chaotic 5 minutes, but it'll be fun. But yeah, I mean, my following on YouTube, it's
Yeah, we're losing her.
is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're totally frozen. Which this so the funny thing about this, I just dropped this on Bridget like 15 minutes ago. I said, "Hey, go live with me." And I'm thinking she's probably thinking, "Oh yeah, what next week or whatever." I'm like, "Oh no, like in 10, 15 minutes." And obviously with the two kids, very hard to do, but I I wanted to test this out. I think there's something there. Now, the one caveat here is the fact that I think there's maybe some dead patches of the Wi-Fi access for her in the backyard. And I don't know if she can even hear me talking. Because I think all we're seeing on YouTube is just like a frozen picture of Bridget.
Am I back yet?
Turtle is
Yeah, it keeps kind of freezing. But it's a good test.
my
We know what we can and can't do, and right now I think live streaming from the back. Didn't you guys get a brand new like Wi-Fi system or internet?
We did. Am I back yet, Brian?
It's just a still
Am I back
picture. I
yet?
can hear like occasional audio.
Okay. Yeah, we did get new Wi-Fi for the World Cup. Patrick upgraded, but our neighborhood, like despite being in suburban Richmond, it's just completely dead everywhere. So, yes, maybe not backyard. Um, am I back yet?
It's a good test. That's all I'm thinking. I'm not stressing about this, and the fact that I'm talking to like a frozen picture, and again, I don't know if she can hear us, and then we're getting like occasional audio from her, but it's a good test.
I can hear you. I'm just worried that my face is frozen on something like completely abnormal, like totally weird.
Totally frozen. All right,
can you hear me, Brian?
This will be one of the 5-minute lives that we're talking about. And it's a good test to see if we can do it. Bridget, if you can hear me, go ahead and exit out, and then I'll be in contact with you here in a little bit, and then we'll figure out how we can do this on the next one. So there you go. I mean, it was probably one of those things to where we wouldn't know if she could do this without testing it out, without trying it. And I think we need to get a hold of Patrick and say, hey, maybe we need to get a Wi-Fi extender to push it out towards the backyard a little bit. Who knows? But I have an idea for what I want with these lives for YouTube. And I want them to be kind of a low-key, low-pressure, more of just kind of seeing what a lot of us are talking about with the creative side of things on how to come up with doing some content together with our friends within the gardening community. And with the podcast that we're starting here, Tossing Salad Podcast, it's, to get a formal kind of an appointment with everybody to where you've got a good hour, 2 hours to sit down and do a podcast. It's tough. That's tough to do, to fit it in with everybody's schedule. But I think if we can find a handful of people that are willing to, every once in a while, just do these quick little lives, touch base, see what's going on, some exchanging of ideas, basically the stuff that is going on behind the scenes in the DMs. Because there's a ton of great ideas that we all have, and it's always easier and nicer to do it with somebody else, and especially with somebody that you consider is, that are your friends, that you kind of are on the same page. You're all doing the same thing as far as growing your social media accounts, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. For us right now, the focus for 2023 is going to be the YouTube side of things for Tossing Salad Podcast. And right now I've got Bridget sending me messages. And it's okay, Bridget, don't worry about it. But I think once we get to a point to where even a 15-minute quick live with people, I think this is what we can do here, in addition to the podcasts that we have, where we're talking one-on-one with content creators within the gardening community. And again, we're not talking necessarily gardening stuff. We're not telling you how to grow the perfect tomato. There may be some stories, small ones, devoted to growing the tomato, but then there's the backstory of, yeah, I've got this perfect tomato here that I was growing, but my neighbor came by and sprayed it with Roundup because they hate us. Those are the stories that we're here to share with the Tossing Salad Podcast. In addition to anything else, the one recurring thing within the Tossing Salad Podcast that has to do with gardening is we're talking to other gardeners from social media. And we could be talking about, we did a Star Wars ranking all 11 theatrical releases with Chelsea. That was fun. She's a gardener. And we did a Taylor Swift episode with Carolina. That was so much fun and totally out of my element. No one, I pitched that idea to a few people and they're like, what? You're going to do a Taylor Swift episode? I don't know much about Taylor Swift, but we did an episode, and guess what? It's like by almost 3 times more popular than my number 2 episode ever. I've only been doing this for like 4 months, 5 months. But taking individuals from the garden community and talking about just the interesting stuff that goes on behind the scenes and one-off topics. What do you guys think? So anyways, this is a good test. We'll try this again, maybe this afternoon or tomorrow. So keep checking in with us. Our current podcast with Lulu is out. And we just recorded the next one that'll be out the following Saturday. So I think what we're doing is instead of a weekly release every Saturday night, which I can't keep up on that schedule, we're going to do every other Saturday. But we're also going to add in a little extra content with the people that we interview. We're going to do these after the podcast lives. We'll have the people come on, and then we'll dissect our podcast performances, what we talked about, what we missed talking about. And then if anybody's around that listened to the podcast, you'll feel free to ask them questions and get your answers. So, all right. So that's it for us today on Thursday. It's a Tossing Salad Live, and we'll see you on the next one.